Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. I, 23F, have been in love with the same freaking guy for 12 years. I am thinking of finally telling him, but what if that's stupid? Man, I have been in love with this guy since I was 12 years old. I remember the exact moment I fell in love with him. Since that day, I have never had a moment in my life where I could honestly say I was not in love with him. Our families are very good friends and we went to school together, so we kept relatively close as friends, but we didn't hang out all the time. But we have been reconnecting a little over the past couple of years. He lives out of state now for school. I have been in several serious relationships throughout my life, but every time I hang out with this guy it almost feels like cheating, because every time my visit with him ends I find something new that I love about him. Am I crazy? I feel so embarrassed and annoyed at this persisting love I have for this man, but I really struggle brushing it aside and letting it go. I have always wanted to tell him but feared losing him as a friend forever, but now that we are adults and I feel mature enough for a real life partner, I am finding it harder to resist that urge. He just told me he's moving back to the town I live in a few months and I just want advice, I guess. I really don't want to lose his friendship and potentially make it weird for our families who are pretty good friends, but life is short, right? I don't want to regret not ever shooting my shot, right? I don't know. Too long didn't read. I'm still in love with the boy I fell in love with when I was 12. We are still friends and our families are friends, and it's getting harder to keep it pushed down as we have gotten older. Life is short, yes. Just ask him out on a date. Just tell him, I promise that whatever happens it's better than you hanging on to this feeling for another 10 years thinking what if. It will work out or it won't. You'll either end up with him or you'll be able to move on. Don't make a big reveal about your feelings, but do talk to him. Tell him you really value your friendship, but you also like him as more than a friend. So, if he wants to just stay friends, that's fine. But if he would be interested, you'd like to take him out on a date after he moves back. Then if he says yes, plan a date. If he says no, then you know. And if he says something else like, I need to think about it, or I'm not sure if I'll be single at that time, but I'll get back to you when I move back, then you drop the subject until he brings it back up. This is actually helpful, thank you. I have had these big feelings for so long and have never even considered acting on them, so I forget that it can be as simple as just asking someone on a date. That doesn't sound so scary. Definitely go for it, because is it even a friendship worth keeping at this point, or just an infatuation? Just know that you have him on a serious pedestal, even if he's truly super great, so just go into it being mindful that you likely have mismatched investment and interest. Even if he's interested, it's unlikely he's been carrying this much of a torch for this long. Should I, 26F, end my friendship with my best friend, 26F, of 14 years? So recently a lot of things about my relationship with my best friend has come to light, and I'm not sure if it's something we can really work through. This year has been an extremely hard year for everyone, to say the absolute least, and has left my energy completely depleted. It began with my aunt dying from complications of COVID-19, my friend from high school passing randomly, and I'm a frontline government worker dealing with the brunt of the pandemic fallout. Not to mention the job was already stressful. This is on top of the stress everyone has been dealing with this year. I share this just to simply state I'm exhausted, I'm depressed, and I just don't have the same energy that I usually have. I don't really think anybody does at this time. My best friend kind of has a tendency to center herself. This has really negatively impacted our communication, because I don't have the same energy that I usually do. I've tried to set boundaries with everyone to kind of keep myself from getting too drained. I've asked her to ask me if I'm in the space for her to vent before venting, because a lot of my job is listening to people vent, and to be quite honest, it is difficult for me to muster up empathy for her complaining about her roommates being loud after I just got off the phone with someone who has lost their job. can't get on the phone with unemployment, and can't feed their children. I've also asked her to be patient with my response times and understanding that I just don't have the same energy. I've tried to set boundaries regarding certain topics that I just can't talk about right now. She's white and sometimes will share racism she's observed with me, a black person, when I just don't really need to hear it. I know racism exists. Whenever we have these conversations, she's very reassuring, but oftentimes in the moment it becomes conversations about how she doesn't have the space to vent. It feels as though actions I'm taking for myself to be mentally healthy are being framed as things I'm doing to her. It's starting to make me feel as though my value in her life is solely based on her ability to vent. Most recently she was making fun of her roommate for doing something we used to make fun of in high school. I, thinking it was just a casual conversation, shared that I realized I felt that way about that activity in the past due to insecurities I had that I was projecting. She then went on to say that I always offer a positive perspective to her negativity and that I shame her for being negative. This is particularly frustrating because when I know she is venting, I always ask her what she needs from me and respond accordingly. She's one of those people who will frame frustrations as something that always happens. She stated I'm pushing my worldview on her because being negative actually benefits her even though it doesn't benefit me. Feel like she was projecting, because a statement about my own past insecurities has nothing to do with her. She states that she just wants validation when she vents, which is fair, but I didn't recognize this was venting. Often I will tell her something along the lines of I'm sorry you're experiencing that, it sucks to feel underscore. But what she wants is for me to join in with saying negative things about other people, which I'm just not gonna do. Another boundary that seems negotiable. It really started to make me reflect on the fact that I am tired of her constantly centering herself in my actions and words. Also TBH, her passing judgments and making fun of other people is tiring. Just feels mean and unnecessary. Also I personally believe her negativity is harmful to her, but I don't share that with her because she's on her own path. I'm just kind of feeling as though maybe our friendship has run its course. However, when I share these things with her she's understanding, and we often have healing conversations. She is so much better than she used to be, and has grown a lot in how she responds to others, including me. TL Doctor, this pandemic has brought to light a lot of issues with my best friend, including her persistent centering of herself in my actions and in my words. It's made it difficult for me to set boundaries, and to communicate authentically with her. You don't have to end the friendship, per se, but you also don't need to sacrifice your mental health while waiting for your friend to catch up to your mentality. She seems like she drains you of the little energy you have left from your job, and sometimes you just don't have the patience to be the void she vents into, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If this were me, I would check on her from time to time because you guys are best friends. If she starts going on a tangent about something that you don't have the energy for, tell her. If she's a good friend then she should understand. If she doesn't, then maybe it's time to end the relationship because she is only focused on her half of the friendship. Never sacrifice your mental health for someone else's, because in the end you're the one that's gonna go crazy. Thank you for the validation. I think I just need space and hopefully she will respect me enough to give it. It sounds like your relationship has evolved quite a bit over the years. Now that you have gotten to the point at which your brains have fully developed, till age 25, your personalities have solidified, and that can make change and growth a bit more challenging. Based on your tone and word choice, you get frustrated with her a lot times, but the sense I get, and I reread your post several times to make sure, is that your friendship is worth it. Respite the frustration. Good relationships are hard work, and it seems to me that yours is just that, a good relationship that requires hard work. If you ever get to the point at which the emotional investment is no longer paying off, then it may be time to move on, but I don't get the sense that now is the time to move on. Best of luck. Thank you so much. This was really helpful. Could you give her a timer? You get 20 minutes to vent, then you listen to me vent for 20 minutes, then we do chit chat for 40 minutes. Or maybe do a text vent if that is less draining. My aunt, 50s, is mistreating her dog and I've, 20s, Had enough. My aunt has a dog that is very active and loves to find ways to escape. She has struggled with her dog since every time she lets her out in the backyard she finds a way to get out, either by digging, jumping fences, etc. It's gotten so bad that they decided to keep her tied to the back of the house to make sure she doesn't escape. They used to have her tied in the back for a few hours a day, but now she is always outside and never comes back in. I feel so bad for this dog. She stays out there rain or shine, cold or hot. I understand that some people think that's okay, but I don't. I've told her many times to let me keep the dog since I can give her a better way of life, but she has rejected any chance of help. Well, there's a tropical storm and the dog has been out for 2 days in the rain. I'm pretty upset seeing this poor dog outside with non-stop rain. I'm either at the point where I'm going to steal her dog and keep it or call animal control. I just feel terrible knowing that she's told me that I can't have her dog and that the dog is fine. So, what should I do? Take the dog away or call animal control? Too long didn't read. Aunt has a dog that stays outside 24/7. Want to steal her dog or call animal control before winter comes and the dog freezes to death? Steal her dog but make it look like it ran away. Ask her about her home surveillance, casually beforehand. Call animal control, make an official report. Take the dog. No dog deserves to be out there with no shelter in the rain and when it gets cold. It's strange how your aunt says you can't have it, but treats the animal so poorly. I live in Canada. Here, I would report that to the SPCA. I'm honestly shocked you are admitting that you knew the dog was out in the rain for days and did nothing about it. Take the dog. Arrange for the dog to go to a rescue where they can place it inside a stable home. Animal control may just take the dog and euthanize it, depending on where you live.